Shalom, shalom, shalom. We're back with another video. So before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechah Wadash, to the apostles and elder bishop of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to give double honor. Shalom to the 144,000, to the 1/3, to the hopeful elect. Shalom. We're here with another lesson. I'm going to call Women Should Not Be Teachers of Men. And we're going to start off with this article from the U.S. Update, posted 2 hours ago. It says 6 new Israeli Reform rabbis ordained in Jerusalem, set to serve local communities. On October 31st, Hebrew Union College's Taboo Family campus in Jerusalem held a ceremony to ordain for the ordination of 6 new Israeli Reform rabbis. President Andrew Raphael, PhD, led the event, which also recognized the academic achievement of students in the college's Israel program. The new rabbis, man, you see the names. I can't say none of that. Joined the Israeli rabbinical program alumni, bringing the total to 142. They would serve more than 50 Reform and progressive Jewish communities and institute in Israel. The ceremony was attended by members of the Board of Governors from the United States, not a surprise, and Israel. 2 Golden Hannes followers and a staff member of the college were also honored. Justice retiree Esther Hayat, former president of the Supreme Court of Israel, received recognition for her service. Each new rabbi has a background in education, psychology, and community leadership. Zerwak Khalaf is an educator from Halaya. Mayan Moore Magag worked in statistic Jewish education. Adai Segal is a psychologist and feminist leader. Shirley Zefat Davida is a teacher and author. Yael Schwartz is a psychoanalyst and Jewish thinker. And Degat Tuma Jahal is a campus chief operating officer. We ain't got to get no more further into that, because none of these women should be teaching in a position of rabbi. Matter of fact, let's look that word rabbi up. Let's define it. Rabbi, a Jewish scholar or teacher, especially one who studied or teaches Jewish law. Now we know that shouldn't be Jewish, it should be Israelite law, which we know the women were never meant to teach. Yahweh Shem Halashai is not an author of confusion, so he never set the woman up to be leader over the man. We all know the divine order. The head of the woman is the man, the head of the man is Hamashiach, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh himself. So the women were never meant to be teachers, but to be taught and to be led. That's the divine order. But here in Esau Edom kingdom, they love to take the power from the man by putting women over them. So just for those who think what I'm saying is a lie, we're gonna go to the AI overview, and I put in ancient Israelite customs were women allowed to be rabbis, and the AI overview said no, women are not allowed to be rabbis in ancient Israelite customs. The role was historically reserved for men due to the tradition that excluded women from public religious authority. While women played an important role in Jewish life, rabbinic leadership, teaching, they were exclusively formal roles like rabbinate and were confined to other communal and domestic duties. This exclusion was based on practices that borrowed women from position of power. And why would they borrow from position of power? Because Yahweh Bashim Hawashai didn't set them up to be in position of power. As I just said, that was a divine order, and the women was at the bottom over the children. So this will lead us to our first scripture, Salakia. This is Ezekiel 34 in the AMP Classic Edition. Ezekiel 34 and 30. Then shall they know positively that I, Yahweh, their power, am with them, and that they, the house of Israel, or my people, says Yahweh power. And here's the point, verse 31. And that you, my sheep, the sheep of my pasture, are only men, and I am your power, says Yahweh power. See? Only men. The sheepfold belong to the men. But that also go back into the ancient decree that Adam put in, that a man should leave the house of his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and them two shall become one flesh. So the woman get blessed through her husband, because they become one flesh after getting married, or in biblical terms, having sex. Because that's what marriage is sex. So the woman can only have her prayers even listened or blessed through the men, through her husband or through her father. That's why Yahweh Bashim Hawashai put men over women. Remember, Adam was first formed and not Eve. So that shows you that men have leadership, and women were never supposed to be in that role to where they was able to give leadership. And we're going to go here to 1 Timothy 2, 11 and 12. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. See? That shows you their position. If you're on the subject of someone, you're under them. And who are they on the subject to? Their husband. So when they want to learn in silence, they should learn in silence from their husband. As the scriptures say, they want to learn anything, let it be through their husband. And to be in subjection to him. All right? And here's the point. But I suffer not a woman to teach. And didn't we just see what there were 6 rabbinical women leaders from the Israelis who say they are the Lord's people, but they're putting women in position to teach. But yet the scripture says, I suffer a woman not to teach. But here we are. This is the wickedness of this evil kingdom, which Esau Edom ruled. They do everything the opposite of what Yahweh Bashim Hawashai has stated in these scriptures. But I suffer a woman not to teach, nor usurp authority over men. Why? Because their role was never to be over a man. Their role was never to teach a man. Their role was to be led or help me. But in this kingdom, they can be whatever they want, such as rabbis, when the Lord said he prayed not a woman to teach, but to be in silence. And we know if they in this position, you can't tell them women nothing. There's no more you can say to them after they got this position of power to be rabbis, which the Lord spake against. All right. I'm going to go here. Because if a woman want to teach, she should be teaching the children, especially the women of the next generation. We're going to go to Titus 2, 4 and 5. That they may teach young women to be sober, to love their husband. You know what? Let me go back to 3. Salaki. Yeah, go back to 3. Titus 2, 3 through 5. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. And who do they need to teach? The women, the next generation. Not no man. Because Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai didn't put the woman over the man. That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husband, to love their children. That's their job. That's who they need to teach. Teach the next generation of women how to be a woman. Not you trying to just get power over a man and teach them the scriptures at that. We just read where Paul said he prayed a woman not to teach. The Lord don't want a woman out here teaching men the scriptures to be leading the way in no hierarchical power. If anything, their job is to teach the children, especially the women of the next generation, not to be no whores, sluts, feminists, but to be women, to be wives, to love their husbands, to love their children. If anything, that's what they should have been doing. Hold a school to teach women to be wives again, to be actual women, instead of these masculine monsters that's running around here because they got authority, like these 6 women did, to be teachers of men, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their husband, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. Yeah. And they're blaspheming the words of Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai by setting up there trying to put these women in a position of power over men to lead congregation. As it says in Revelation, the congregation of the Lord is with men. But here in Esau Edom kingdom, they try to make it with women. They try to take what the Lord put as good as bad and say it's progressive that women have power over men. But that's the wickedness of these people. And when you try to tell them, no, that's not what the Bible states, that Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai only want men in those positions of power, and that women should be subject to them, should learn from them, but also teach the next generation of women the things they need to do to please their husband, to live a godly life. But they don't do that. They take what's evil, women in a position of power, and turn it to good. They'll flip it. And all the masculinity that a man has has now been flipped on his head. That's why you got a bunch of effeminate, emotional, quick to anger young men out here because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. Because they've been led by emotional women and never had a masculine man in front of them. But those women was put in this position by evil men who had turned the goodness of these scriptures into something evil and inclusive, which we're going to end out there. This is Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So yeah, woe, lamentation, destruction, all kind of evil things to those people that did this, especially that college who put these women as rabbis, leaders of communities, leaders of men, telling them that they had the power to teach over men. So woe to them, destruction unto that college. May Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai rain down destruction upon that place, and all those who goes against his word, against the scriptures, against the things he said. I'm trying to put these women in a position of power. But that's all I had to say on that. I hope this little quick lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Hawashai. Shalom.